And we are here at the Gracia Gardens, Nairobi, with Crystal Lusige, who is a singer, songwriter, composer, and also a nominated senator at the Parliament of Nairobi. And she is also an advocate for people living with disability and doing a great job at it. She just dropped a mixtape, Blinding Allure. It's doing good. It's all over all the streaming platforms. You can always go and check it out. Today we decided to sit down with her to get to know more about what the songs are all about, what the inspiration is behind some of the greatest songs that she has composed, and what work is she doing at the Senate to help the people of Nairobi and of Kenya and the young people and women and people living with disability just like her.
In this statement, the committee should explain the justification for the continued use of corporal punishment.
Let's start with your work currently at the Senate before we go to your creative side.
Yeah,
so you are a senator right now. It's been 1 year.
Yes.
Tell us about how you got here.
Wow, it's been a really long journey. I think my life has been very colorful, lots of twists and turns. Nothing that I've ever expected. I never expected to go blind, to be honest, when I was young. When I was a teenager, I never expected to work at the BBC in the UK. I never expected to become, a nationally acclaimed, award-winning singer, songwriter. And I never expected to become a politician.
Wow.
I think it's always something that, as a Christian, I just want to follow what God tells me to do, the assignment that I'm given at all times. So this is part of the assignment, to now do what I usually do in terms of disability mainstreaming and advocacy, but on a national level.
Oh, okay.
So it's been good, it's been difficult, challenging, surprising, disappointing, joyful, all of the emotions in the last year. But at the end of it all, so far I would say that I've made good progress. I'm proud of myself, I'm proud of what I've been able to achieve, the respect I've been able to garner from fellow MPs in both houses, Senate and National Assembly, and because of how strongly I believe and I push for persons with disabilities, youth and women.
And Kenyan politics, really is a very, they say it's a very mucky, dirty affair. Did you ever envision yourself, and you said you never saw yourself as such, did you ever think you'd end up with some of the people we have in Parliament who, some of them are very questionable, let's be very, very, very honest. And how do you deal with some of those very questionable, very, not so good characters that you have to sit with in the Senate and work with? And they have big cases in courts.
I think it's, of course, it's, like you say, murky.
It's a very mucky world.
And with anything, I think, in life, with any environment that you're put in to do a piece of work, right, or to serve your purpose, you need to just find your lane and just try to stick to it and do the best you can in it. So even though there are people who public might see as having done this or the other thing that is questionable or criminal or whatever it is, my job and what I've been focusing on is, okay, this is what I've been put here to do. This is what I exist to do here in Senate. Let me just focus, work with people as best as I can, as honestly as I can, and with as much energy as possible so that I can get this assignment done.
You are nominated from the ODM party. For how long, what is your relationship with the ODM? Have you always been an ODM member?
From Western Kenya.
How deep does it run? Yes, of course.
Our family is from Western, so...
it goes without saying.
Yes, so we've always, even though I was born and raised in Mombasa, that's where our lineage is from, of course. And I have always, since I've been able to vote, I've always been voting for Baba and supporting the party. So it just came as, honestly, just part of the journey, I suppose,
Okay, I'm going to ask you just a little crazy question. Do you believe Baba won in 2022? I just want a very... No, you have to tell me that.
Of course we believe Baba won.
Okay.
Who do you believe that Baba won?
I don't know. I am not supposed to say that.
Why? Why not? Is this a conversation?
I am a journalist. I'm supposed to be impartial. I'm supposed to be, provide a balanced coverage. But you 100% believe Baba won the election and it was stolen?
100%. I believe that Baba won this election. And unfortunately, this is where we are now at a year later, and we're in the opposition. We find ourselves in the opposition. And our job is to make sure that we are the watchdogs for Kenyans, not just those who voted for us, but also those who voted for the Kenya Kwanza side, and to do our best to then steer the government in a way, in such a way that all citizens are catered for, and you know, the needs and the plight of Kenyans are addressed, challenges are given solutions, and things like that.
Before we go deeper into politics, let's just run it back a little. You mentioned the UK, you mentioned Mombasa. What was Crystal like? What was your life like growing up in Mombasa? And you want to touch on the UK part a little as well?
Sure, yeah. So born and raised in Mombasa. I'm the last born in my family. And,
family of, do you want to mention?
Yeah, 4 kids.
Okay.
Yeah. And my parents are still in Mombasa, and a very supportive family, extremely supportive. So when I got the news, or rather when I was diagnosed with glaucoma, when I was a teenager, because I wasn't born with a disability, right?
Okay.
So once I got the diagnosis, after a few years of struggling to, you know, see and to understand why is my eyesight declining, my family really came around me. They really cushioned me and protected me and cared for me. And even amidst all that, I was able to have an opportunity to go and study in the UK.
Wow.
I studied in Bristol. I did my university there.
Wow.
And then after that, I got called by BBC in the UK to work for them. I worked there for a few years, and then that's when I came back home.
Oh, wow. It must be a very amazing family that you come, from.
They brought me up well, I think.
Yeah. And your sisters and brothers as well. How was it, how challenging was it to start realizing I'm losing my eyesight? How old were you actually?
I was around 15 years old, in the middle of high school, and it was...
You're in Kenya that time, right?
I was in Mombasa.
Okay,
yeah, Mombasa, I did all of my schooling in Mombasa. So around 15 years old is when I started to realize that something's wrong with my eyes. I wasn't really able to see the front of the classroom well. When I used to do sports, because I was a sports captain in school, I wasn't able to really see what was happening on the field or on the court. I also was very active in performing arts. When I read scripts, I would have to bring it quite close to my face and struggle. So these small things sort of like led me to my mom to say, hey, I think there's something wrong with my eyes. Can we go to the optician? So I went to an optician in Mombasa, and unfortunately I didn't know at the time that there's a difference between an optician and an ophthalmologist. They're 2 different people doing 2 different things.
You just taught me something, because I don't know that either.
Neither did I.
Okay.
So opticians work on the front of the eye, specs, contact lenses, things like that. But ophthalmologists, they work on the back of the eye, the health of the entire eye, what's happening with the optic nerve. So I went to an optician, and they told me, oh, just take some glasses, and see how you go. But that wasn't the solution. So by the time, a few months, couple of even years went by, and then when I was in university in the UK, is when I was like, this eyesight is still declining. These glasses, they're not helping me. I keep, getting even more stronger glasses every year. So that's when I went to an ophthalmologist, and then they told me something is wrong. It's not natural how your eyesight is declining year in, year out. So they did some tests. After a few tests, then I was diagnosed officially with glaucoma. And they also told me that glaucoma is more aggressive in black people because of the dark color of our eyes. And they also told me that it's caused a lot of havoc in my eyes already. So they didn't think that they could stop it.
It was not reversible.
And there's no cure for glaucoma till today.
Okay. What age were you at this point?
So in university, I was early 20s. Yeah, early 20s.
Okay. So now you're told, at this point now you're told you've lost your eyesight completely?
I was told that it was declining.
It was a gradual process.
It was going to continue declining until I would have no more sight. There was no way to stop it. Yeah.
So were you able to overcome? How many years did it take you for you to accept? Because I know at first you were in denial. You must have been. How challenging was that? What was the period like before you decided, this is my life now, I accept it's what it is?
It was really difficult. I mean, with anything, when you lose anything that you closely, whether it's a person, whether it's something like a job, anything like that you really have close to your heart. For me, it was my eyes, and it was like mourning a death. And mourning a death over and over again, because you can see every year you notice how much less you're seeing. So it was almost like a perpetual mourning. Like it wasn't stopping the grief. So it was very difficult, and I spiraled, and I didn't do well. I mean, I went into a depression. I had suicidal fantasies, and those kinds of things, because nobody ever tells you in life, oh, by the way, if you ever get disabled, this is what you should do. 1, 2, 3. These are the steps.
There's no manual for that.
Correct. So it was something that I really had to do on my own, even though my family was around me.
You have your own, you know, emotions that you're battling.
Yeah, it's a very solo kind of, because it's your eyes, and you're slowly sort of like, I don't know, the world is disappearing from you slowly by slowly.
Wow.
So and also it made me feel like I was alone, because now when I got to the place where I couldn't see at all, you know, I can't see people's faces, I can't see colors, I can't see, you know, the sunset, the sun, you know, things like that. So it's almost like you're just sitting in a house alone, like in the dark, like you would be sitting at home in the dark. It's like that. So it's very painful, but
it was quite traumatic. Must have been.
And I'm still sort of healing from it, to be honest.
Okay.
But I thank God for the other opportunities that have been.
And now you are the champion. You are a champion right now. I mean, you are in the Senate. I mean, we would all love to be in the Senate, but you are there right now. Well, you're holding up well, I believe.
Yes.
Currently? Okay.
I think so. I've been able to, you know, make some headway in Senate. I have right now 5 bills. I'm one of the highest performing female senators, and the highest performing on the Azimio side, which I'm very proud of. And also just gaining respect from other fellow colleagues, you know, because there are some of them who are, like you said, veteran.
Yes, they've been there.
They've been there.
They've been down the trenches,
yes. Like 2 terms, 3 terms, 4 terms. And so me as a first timer, at least I've been able to in the last year gain their respect, because now they see, okay, she's not just nominated, it's not just like a flimsy nomination.
It's someone substantial.
Yeah.
I wish you would have listened, I wish you would have listened. This thing would have turned different if you would have listened.
Let's talk music now. At what year do you feel like, at what year actually, did you always grow up with a musical bag inside you? When did you write your first song? I see a lot of people say, I wrote my first song at 14, at 19, at 10. How old are you when you wrote your first song, and what song was that? Can you remember?
My first ever song was a song called Invisible. Actually, that's funny. Oh wow, it's called Invisible. I was maybe 11.
Oh,
because before that I used to write a lot of poetry, and I still write a lot of poetry. I feel like poetry and music are very closely linked,
they
right?
are,
so
actually.
I started by writing poetry because I was the kind of kid who wasn't very expressive out loud. I wasn't able to really speak my feelings and
thoughts.
stuff. So I used to write them down. And from there, you know, having that sort of skill set, I then realized that if you just put some music to a bit of poetry, it's basically a song. So that's when I started to try my hand at music. And I remember it was actually I dubbed over a Bone Thugs and Harmony song, that song Invisible. I just took a song and I took the instrumental and I put my lyrics on it when I was about 11,
Wow.
And it cost 2,000 shillings in studio. I was like, that's expensive,
so you had to do it yourself using a cassette or something in the house or something?
Yeah, when I was practicing, then my mom was able to help me find like a small studio in Mombasa, in the CBD in Mombasa.
Oh, and you actually recorded?
Yeah, and I recorded it. I don't know where it is now. But
must have gotten lost or in the vault or something. So at what point do you now start doing music officially, you know, professionally? It's not just a hobby anymore. I'm trying to earn out of this. I mean,
it was the point I was in university in the UK. It's when I used to get invited, or my friends and I used to go for karaoke. I didn't really know what karaoke was, open mic nights. So they took me to open mic nights because they knew that I liked music, my friends back then. And when in open mic night, I would see that people would, you know, take the hat, pass it around. People would pay, you know, to appreciate the person who is on the stage. And I was like, oh, people can actually just like pay you just because they're happy to hear you sing, or you've touched them somehow with your music. Then I realized, oh, people actually can make a career out of this. I saw it with my own eyes at that time in the university. So that's when I started writing and going into studio when I was in uni. And actually I wrote a couple of songs, and that was the first time I got like a #1 in a chart show in the UK.
What does that mean?
The song was called Pulled Under. Yeah, and I submitted it to a chart show in the UK, and I asked all my friends to vote, asking, you know, calling the radio station, and it climbed up to #1.
Oh wow, that is brilliant. So now you come back to Kenya to start working, you know, and then now start, you know, kickstart your music career once again. People knew you mostly in 20. I think I knew you when you did Extravaganza. And remember that part where nywele za kifara. That's really beautiful.
Nywele za kifarasi, lakini zini moto ya makasi. Risasi mwendo kasi, dandiani usiwachwa nafasi.
Did you write? Did you write that? Did you write that?
Of course.
Oh, okay. Your Swahili is good. I mean, it's because you're from Mombasa, I think. I don't know.
I think many Kenyans.
I don't think my Swahili is that good. I mean, my Swahili is it's not that good. So now we knew you through that particular verse, but had you done other projects before?
I've been doing
we
music.
Hadn't known about.
I've been doing music for a long time. My stuff is on SoundCloud. Like my early stuff's on SoundCloud, and also I used to get gigs, paid gigs in Mombasa to sing in like events. I used to before the president's wife became the president's wife.
Okay. Who are we talking about here?
We're talking about
Rachel Ruto.
Rachel Ruto.
Oh,
correct.
okay.
Yeah, she had a small program that she used to run, and I remember her team called me to come perform for them one evening in Mombasa. It was actually at Voyager Hotel. So yeah, that was pre all of that, when I was still living in Mombasa full time. Yeah. So
Wow.
I've been singing for quite a while.
When would you say was your biggest break? At which point would you say this was my biggest break musically?
I think when I got my number ones, back in university.
Oh,
to be
back in the
honest.
UK.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Because I mean that's the first time when people actually were appreciating who I am and what I was doing. So, and I was seen by many people in the UK, in the music circles there, and I began, doing small tours within Bristol, the city where I was living.
Your name was circulating around there.
Yeah,
So
man.
your Kenyan fans now, you drop a few projects with your former label, and they're popping and everything. How did the Kenyan audience receive you? How did you?
You were the Kenyan audience. What do you think?
I was a fan. I was sold out of that whole song. I think your part and Kaskazini's part. The last part is actually really nice, if you ask me. So, but did you feel the love out here? Did you feel the love from everybody else?
I did. There were many people who were supporting me, who were cheering me on. Especially the day one fans, the ones who
knew you from way back,
from before and through my YouTube channel.
Hey, this is Crystal Asige again, and welcome back to Blind Girl Manenos. Today we're going to get serious for a moment and talk about why it's seriously important for us blind people to be organized.
I used to have a series called Blind Girl Manenos, where I used to sort of like talk about my disability and how to cope, and giving tips and tricks about how to be, just thrive in the world with a disability. So those people are like, oh my gosh, she's now doing also this and this.
Music, yeah.
So everyone was very happy for me, and I think that the public as well were able to understand, or rather have a different lens towards disability.
I like that.
Because before that, people were like, you know what, I didn't really respect or really understand disability, but because you're brave enough to come out and do this at this level and not be shy to show your disability and your vulnerabilities, it really helped a lot of people. And I remember getting lots of DMs, and still do.
As a person with a disability, how tricky was it to navigate the Kenyan music scene? It's a tricky music scene. I know it. I know a few things about it. Was it tough for you to especially you are a woman, number one, and secondly, a woman with disability. How tough was it to crack the industry, the Kenyan music industry? Is it tough? Is it an easy thing that anyone can just? Because it's tough for women singers in Kenya, the female singers in Kenya. It's tough, tougher than for the men. I know you know that.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
Yeah.
I think in any field, not just
in any
music.
field actually.
Even, even now in politics, every field. To
In
be honest.
in almost all the countries in the world,
Yeah.
men always have
An advantage.
Yes.
because of
So how tough was
patriarchy and
it
all.
for you? What was the experience like just cracking that?
I think because of the way I've been raised and the mindset that I, live by, my attitude, my personality, my character, I made sure to stick to, like I keep saying, my assignment. Of course, there are different challenges along the way. Misogyny, people looking at you like you're not good enough, or they dismiss you because of the disability or whatever the thoughts that they usually have, the stereotypes, the discriminative sort of thought patterns that they live with. And it was difficult, of course, and it still is difficult, but the main thing for me was to remember, okay, I've got a talent, and I feel like I've got something to say and to show through this talent, and I'm just going to keep pushing, keep knocking at the doors, keep going to the gigs, keep doing all the things, basically.
Keep doing your thing like any other person. How bad has discrimination been in your life? Has it been too much? Has it been just, you know, not too much? Has it been 80%, 70%, 60% with your people that you interact with in the UK and here as well?
Less discrimination in the UK, more here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think because in the Western world they're a bit more evolved in terms of how they think about people who are different in society. Of course, there's still challenges, but I think discrimination is higher here.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is it a thing that you experience daily today? Was it a thing that used to happen back then? Do you still, you know, experience some of it even today?
Even today, yeah.
Okay.
Even today, in small ways, in big ways, but I've been able to learn how to, you know, A, spot it, and B, squash it.
Does being a senator helped you navigate some of these challenges that you might have had? Were you not, you know, an MP? Has it helped you? Would you say that position, I don't know, in anything in life, in accessing people, accessing offices, accessing privileges, has being a senator been helpful to you?
Absolutely, yeah, certainly, because, you know,
there are places you can go that I can't go, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, and it's expected, I suppose, when people gain a title or they're given sort of like a responsibility. There are, of course, calls that I'm able to make, which I wasn't able to make before, places that I'm invited to speak or to be a part of, people that I've been able to meet, heads of state that I wouldn't have ever met if I was just living in Mombasa. But that's why I'm saying I really thank God, because I am using all of those resources and accesses to different spaces to be able to push this agenda of disability. And that's the reason that, you know, I am here to serve and to look after the rights and the needs and laws and provisions for people with disabilities. Have
you met President Ruto?
I have not met President Ruto, no.
Okay, why hasn't that happened? I mean, have you not been invited to any of the State House banquets? Have you, I mean...
we've been in the same room.
Okay, okay.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Okay, okay. Most of the time, because he addresses you people.
Yeah, there's addresses, correct.
Okay, but you haven't like shaken his hand, had a conversation with him in person? Okay. Is that something that you're seeing happening soon? Or you don't even think about that?
I think it's...
Or your president is Raila Odinga?
It's His Excellency Raila Odinga.
Okay, that is that is your president. So, well, I don't want to go too deep into that because I know how volatile our politics is. You just dropped Blinding Allure, a mixtape actually, not an album, on November 3rd. Tell us about the reception. How has it been received by your fans? And
it's been great. And just like I'm received within Parliament, it's been very bipartisan. Because even senators from both sides came and supported me. It was amazing to see them. They came, several actually. I was really happy and pleased that they came to support me, because music is universal. You know.
Where was the launch?
It was on Gong Road at Orchid Lounge. It was really great. Lots of people came out as well. Fans, people who didn't know me from before, who just maybe heard that there's something going on with a senator who sings. And it was really fun, basically. Unfortunately, it rained a lot, but we were indoors, so thank goodness. And it was
a beautiful night, right?
It was really fun.
So now in the reception online, it's on streaming platforms. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, I think.
Yes, it's on all streaming platforms, Google Play, Audiomack, Spotify, Apple, all of it, and also my YouTube channel.
How are people responding to it right now?
People are enjoying it. They're sharing, they're talking about it online. I'm getting, lots of, engagement, and it's just really fun. And I'm able to, as well, share with people that you can do more than one thing at a time. You can do more than two things at a time. As a creative, we have many layers, to who we are. You shouldn't just be one. You're not just a journalist. I'm sure you do other things.
Oh my God, I do a lot of things.
That's what I'm saying. So
I guess each of them I tell you how many other things that I do.
Right.
Well, let's talk about Blinding Allure. The inspiration behind the title, especially, and the songs in that particular mixtape. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, Blinding Allure is it was inspired by me wanting to, like I say, show different sides of who I am. I've been able to do many things in my life, thankfully, show many sides of all of my skills and talents, and that was the idea going into Blinding Allure. it just means to me that allure, the word allure, just means something that's really powerful, that you're drawn to, that you know, it's something that's very attractive. Yeah, and I said blinding allure because, of course, the play on the words, and also because I want to show people that you can be the best version of yourself and just show everyone everything, of put it all on the table, right? And you can shine, you know, until people go like, whoa, it's so
this is
like
too blinding.
it's so great, like oh my goodness.
Yes.
So that's the idea, and
it's
the
a
songs,
very beautiful title, by the way.
Thanks a lot.
I love it. I'm
I put some
a linguist, so I love that.
Yeah, I can tell. So that's just the first of a bunch of projects that I'll be releasing with the same title. This one was hip hop and R&B. Giving homage to, you know, my influences and my love for hip hop and R&B. People have known me for one thing, chakacha, rumba, but I also wanted to show, like I say, we're all layered.
Yes.
And then the next one, I mean, I've got songs already
so there are more mixtapes coming, but they're all named Blinding Allure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So each will be basically a different genre. That's what I'm planning. Myself and my producer, Wood Omolo. I've been really cooking, and there's more to come.
I like that.
I'm a level up a building. The water don't need to look for waves. Swim.
Have you performed it? Have you had like a public performance after the launch?
Yes.
Or are you planning one? Okay.
I've been performing it, and I've been featured in different places as well, online, mainstream, blogs, things like that. So it's doing really well, and you know, over December holidays, I'm also planning for more performances. Which you should invite me to, and then I shouldn't pay, right? Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
All right. So please, as we wrap up, are there any African? I actually want to go with Africa, not international, not global. Are there any African singers, especially female singers, are you currently listening to, looking up to, admiring, dancing to?
Many.
Could you mention a couple names?
My diehard is Tiwa. I really love Tiwa.
Oh, really? Okay.
She's really dope, and as well her story. I'm attracted to her story because she wasn't like the youngest. She wasn't like, it wasn't like she was, how do I say, an industry plant, you know, where you just get picked and you're just told, okay, you are going to become superstar. Dress this way, look this way, talk this way. You know, she's very like unique, and I really like that about her. So I follow her a lot, and I enjoy her music. Yeah.
Is there anybody, male or female, that you're looking at? Maybe I'd love to collaborate with that particular person.
Outside of Tiwa, I mean,
I know it's a lot, but maybe you could mention him. Even locally, maybe. I know you've done a few projects with local singers, Kenyan singers. Do you have any Kenyan singer, maybe? Let's just localize this.
Well, actually, in this album, one of the songs features Uaya Tajiri, who is one of the Watendawili group. Yeah, so he's already there, so done that. But others that I would love to collaborate with, Calligraph and I have spoken on the phone about jumping in the studio.
Be cooking.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, that sounds interesting. Well, I want you to look at the camera. That's what everybody knows. You are looking at the camera, and just say that's the camera. Say anything to young people, persons with disability, young women like you. What word would you love to leave out to them, like a parting shot?
2 Peter 3:8 talks about God being absolutely on time. He's never late, he's always on time, and he knows exactly what he's doing, exactly when he's doing it. I think that's what I've learned in my life, and I wanted to just in this moment remind everyone of the same, that doesn't matter what you're going through. It might be very overwhelming right now. It might feel like, you know, you're being submerged in it, but I have learned that if you just trust in the process, and you know, make sure that you're moving every day, one step in front of the other, and even if it's slow, it's still steady, you know. Make sure that you understand that your gift is important to the world, and you need to give it as much as the world needs to receive it. So you just keep going, man. Take me as an example. Wow, and keep going.
Wow, that is really, really beautiful. I'm gonna cut that part and just keep it to myself. I love that. Thank you so much, Crystal, for your time. Thank you so much for being such a beautiful woman, such a strong woman, such a determined woman, and all the best, all the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.